is Arturo, and I live in Monterrey, Mexico, which is in the northern part of the country. I have been with Nikken since 24 years ago. As a matter of fact, as soon as Nikken came into Mexico, we joined them. And that time I was working as the campus president of quite prestigious Mexican university, private university. And my late wife, Patty, she was looking for a business, and then one day she shared with me that she had found a good way to help people in the first place, and then a way to generate an extra income. I didn't agree with her thoughts, and I asked her not to do it, and 24 years later, here I am, very happy with her decision. It was like 1 month after she started when one day I tried to wake up in the morning to go to take a shower and to go to my job, and how do you call it in English? The sciatic nerve.
Sciatica.
The pull happened to me every 6-8 months because of stress. And I couldn't even breathe or wake up from bed. I knew it would take like 3-4 days with shots of vitamin B and all sorts of remedies. Really, some of them really bad for my digestive system, as you might know. So she handled one of these products from the company, and I asked her, what is this? And she said, I don't know. You just wear it. So I did. And impressively, 2 hours later, I was at my office with my suit and my tie, freshly after the shower, and scratching my head and thinking, if this happened to me, how many people could we help with this thing? So that was the start. I didn't have much time to pay to this business because I was up to here with my job. But she started really hard. She was the star of Nikken in Mexico and in Latin America at that time. And she rise to the platinum range, if that means something to you. And something that started as a plan B for us eventually became our plan A, because it helped me take the decision when I was 52 to retire. And I'm happy that I made that decision. People were like, this guy is crazy. How come he's retiring from such a nice position with such a good salary and the benefits that he has, a car and savings plans and all that? I did have all that, but I didn't have the most important thing, which was time for me and for my family, and to share with me whatever I wanted to share with me. I didn't have time. I have a lot of stress, as many of you might have. And eventually, when I took the decision of retiring at 52, that was about 2 decades after we started with the Nikken business, people thought that I was crazy. And I'm very happy. Now I can travel when I want. We have a 21-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old daughter, and I spend a lot of time with them. I enjoy them with my wife as well, Maria, and we travel, and I take my time and I do other things that I just love, because I have this business, which basically is helping people to become healthy. And how do I do the business? Well, I don't sell products. You may say, hey, this guy is he's crazy. He makes a business without selling products. But that's a fact. I don't go into selling products. What I do in the first place, when I have a conversation with a person, It's to help that person make a reflection, make some thoughts about what is happening with him or with her and their families, because we are living in an unnatural environment. And I just ask questions like in a Socratic conversation, and they start to think about, I think that's right, yeah. What kind of water are we having? What kind of air are we breathing? How is the quality of our sleep every day? And what kind of light are we using when we go to school or to work or to read? What kind of nutrition are we having? And people are smart. People are intelligent. And we help them make these kind of reflections. They start to question themselves, their own style of life. And then I tell them that, which is true, I'm being honest, that there are two options. One option, one solution for their situation is to go to the mountain to live and to breathe the best air that it can be, and to drink water that comes from the creeks from the mountain, and to sleep on earth, and to use the light of the sun for their own duties, and to feed themselves with organic cultures. And they say, I cannot do that. I have my office, I have my job, I have my family, I have my home. And I say, well, I have what it might be a solution for you. I don't give solutions. I help people think about their own solutions. And this is how would you like to make an environment as natural as you need at your own home, at your own school, at your own office, at your own job. And they start to ask questions, and I start to show now the products. Then they buy the products. I don't sell the products, which is a big difference. And it's important, and they feel, well, I don't go after people. This is just a very nice conversation to get together. And finally they start to make their own conclusions. And then if I could put my emphasis into selling the product, there is always the option of them to say, oh no, it's too expensive, because they don't understand what we are talking about. After this process of reflection, when they ask me about how much would that cost to me, to them, what I do is to start again in that process of reflection, asking where do they put their money, where do they put their resources. For instance, I ask if they have health insurance, and usually they say yes, of course. And I ask them, how much do you pay for it every year? And they give me this big amount of money. And I would say, wow, that's a smart decision that you are paying such an amount of money for something that you don't want to use. But it's smart to have it. But you don't want to use it. Well, no, I don't want to use it. Well, I have a good piece of information for you that you might find important. For what you pay of a premium for your insurance every year, you get the whole home environment for you not to prepare yourself not to use the insurance. And they start to figure out the numbers and say, hey, this is unbelievable. Of course, if I get the sleeping system and the water and the air and the light and the nutrition, that's a smaller amount usually than what I pay every year for an insurance that I don't want to use. And in Mexico, we are prone to use the private education, which is expensive. And again, I make this quick exercise with them about how much they are paying for tuition for every single son or daughter every year. and big numbers come to the table, and I would say, hey, that's smart. Because I usually ask them, the first question is, when you think of your kids, what are the two most important things that come to your mind? 100% the answer is health and education. And then I ask, which one of the two is more important? And for sure, 100% they say health. And then I ask, how much do they invest? That's the key word. How much do they invest in education? And they give me these large numbers of money, this amount of money. And then you say, hey, if you put that amount of money in education, which is one of the two most important issues when you think of your kids, how much are you paying for your kids in order for them to be healthy? And they start like to feel a little bad. They feel like a remorse that, hey, I hadn't thought of that. We buy good food and they do some exercise, and yeah, but is that enough? Are you putting in proportion what you are putting into education? You are putting more into health, because you say that health is more important. So you see, what I do is to help them confront themselves with themselves. And they start to come to conclusions that they haven't done enough. And when they know about how much would they have to pay for this, about the Nikken products, which give them the natural environment that we have lost already, they start to scratch their heads and say, hey, I don't have the cash flow, but of course I want to get that. And I'm going to do it part by part. Of course, you can do it. And I start to make a lot of exercises depending on the situation. Like, for instance, I like to make an analysis, for them to make an analysis, how much do they pay for a car, for automobile? And they give me these numbers, and how often do you change cars? And every case is different, 2 years or 5 years or whatever, and how much did you pay for that car, and how much will they give you when you take this car after the number of years, and how much capital do you have to put forward to get the new model, and then do you have to add the insurance, and you have the taxes and the license and the parking lots and the washing and the maintenance, and the numbers are huge. People are putting in a car a huge amount of money that they haven't paid sometimes attention, because you just get to the gas station and you put gas and you pay, and you don't add up how much money are you spending in a car. And it's as expensive as a guy in a private college, let me tell you, but you can make the exercise. So when I ask them to make this exercise, and they realize how much money they are paying in something important like it is a car, and I ask them, and how many hours a day do you use a car? And they tell me all kind of questions, all kind of answers, but I try to make conclusions. And let's think that you use a car 4 hours a day. You are behind the wheel 4 hours every single day of the 7 days of the week. And they say usually, well, that's a little too much. Let's leave it like that. And the following question is, what's more important for your health? The 4 hours you spend behind the wheel in your car, or the 8 hours that you should spend sleeping really well, profound and sound sleep every night in your life? And they say to sleep well. Well, let's make just a simple proportion. If for the car you put some amount of money for 4 hours a day, how much money should you pay for an 8-hour good sleep night? At least the double every year. And I say, I have a really good news for you. You just have to pay a third of what you have. For instance, for your car in a year, for just one time in your life. And then they start to realize that they haven't put a lot of attention in such basic issues in their lives and in their lives of their families. And I add something. I tell them, when you go to the car dealer and you choose the car you want to buy, and you maybe don't have the money, the cash to pay for the car at that moment, you cannot say, well, you can say that the seller will keep an eye on you and say, wait, what is this person talking about? Because if you tell to the seller in the auto dealer, well, just please give me the 4 wheels and the windshield and the brake system. This is what I'm going to buy this time. That doesn't sound logic, okay? Because first, where are you going to put all those pieces of gear, and you are not going to use them, and it's going to be really expensive to fit them all together. So I tell them, in this case with Nikken, you can do that. Because the whole system, this is the whole system, the sleep system, the water, the air, but you can buy part by part depending on the cash flow that you have available. And you can redirect what you are spending, because you said, in order to be congruent with what you said, that health is the most important issue when you think of your kids. And it's fun to do this, and they keep learning that this is their own decision, and it's very a relation of, for instance, where do you spend the money? In the bag, in the shoes, in the dress, in the trip, in the vacation, or in your health? From the intelligent position of the health, which is prevention. With good health, result of good water for your cells, with good air for your lungs, with good sleep for your whole benefit of your wellness, good nutrition, good light, life will be different for you now and in the years to come. This is a smart decision. And I ask them also, do you like to help people? Do you like to help people? Would you like to share this with other people? Because if you do, well, you can pay 20% less, and besides that, if you sell 5 of these packages, you get your own basically free. And they started